After decades of peace, Japan is confronting the possibility of war. With a resurgent Russia, North Korea, and crucially, a more powerful China on its doorstep, Japan is putting on a show of force.
We have to start getting ready. We don't really know how much time we have.
Japan's embarking on its biggest military expansion since the Second World War, and it's fortifying a new front line on its islands near Taiwan. But some locals fear these new military bases will turn their islands into a war zone.
Whoever creates or cooks up the war are the ones that I really hate.
More than 70 years since Japan renounced war, the country is again preparing for conflict. The aim is to prevent China from going to war by showing Japan and its allies will put up a fight. But is this deterrence going to work, or will it help create the conflict Japan is trying to avoid? It's the morning rush at this military base in southern Japan. ABC? Arigato. The base is home to a specialised team of soldiers called the Amphibious Rapid Deployment Brigade, or ARDB. The brigade is like the US Marines, trained to launch assaults from the sea. This morning, the endurance of these new recruits is being tested in the pool. Nearby, 33-year-old Captain Shogo Iwai is training with his unit. He joined the self-defense forces when he was only 15.
母親については反対をしました。高校生ではやっぱり一番遊べる時期っていうところでしっかりと遊んでから自衛官になりなさいっていうふうに言われて、でその反対を押し切って入りましたね。
These drills simulate jumping from a helicopter. In a real war, Captain Iwai and his team could be sent in as a covert reconnaissance unit ahead of a full-scale beach landing. Some, jumping out for the first time, are nervous.
やはり敵がいる中での効果になりますんで、速やかに制圧をしないと、仲間の命、あとヘリの、安全も関わってるんで、そういうのを考えて飛びなさいというふうに言ってます。思い切りいくことですね。
This brigade was created 5 years ago after hostile confrontations with Beijing over disputed islands in the East China Sea. Major Shingo Nashinoki is the unit's commander. Hi, Nashinoki-san.
Hi, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, James. Just having a look at your amphibious assault vehicles you've got here.
我が国を取り巻く安全保障環境というのは非常に厳しいものがありますし、今後ますます厳しくなってくるものと思います。我が国の特性というものは多くの島々を抱えているということになります。その島を確実に、守りきる。
非常にどこに敵、障害、地雷、そういったものがあるか分かりませんので、非常に危険で、怖いっちゃ怖いですね。
So why did you pick this specific job?
もう、自分の愛する日本を 守るためですね。
A 15-minute drive away is America's Sasebo Naval Base, a crucial supply point for US ships in the Pacific and Indian Oceans. It's one of 13 American military bases on Japanese soil. Every morning, naval officers here salute the US-Japan alliance.
Ready, 2, right face, forward, march.
Since the end of the Second World War, American military bases like this have been the backbone of Japan's defence. They give the US a vital launching point for military operations, helping ensure its position as Asia's dominant superpower. But a rising China is challenging American dominance. In global terms, the US military is more powerful than China's. But China's defence forces have grown rapidly in the region, and it's provoking intense debate in Japan.
Suddenly we are waking up to the potential threat that China is posing. And in order to face that, we're very poorly prepared. And what's more worrying is that the Americans are very poorly prepared in this region.
我々の安全保障環境が非常に厳しいという中の一つにこの台湾海峡問題などが当然入ってきます。
If the US gets involved in Taiwan, and then if Japan also provides even rear area support, then China would start to retaliate, probably, against the US bases based in Japan at the very least.
If there is a military conflict in the Taiwan Strait, I consider it very unlikely that we can stay out of it.
Why?
Because some of our islands are very close to Taiwan. We are in the front line, really. I think everybody feels that.
I'm heading to the southwest to see Japan's new front line up close. 2,000 kilometres from Tokyo, but under 300 kilometres from Taiwan, is the island of Ishigaki. It's part of the Okinawan region. Ishigaki's a popular tourist destination and home to fishermen and fruit growers, like Ryutaro Kinjo.
まだ豊かな自然が残ってて、この住む人たちもほのぼのとできるし。
Every morning, Ryutaro takes the short trip to his family fruit farm.
おはようございます。
He almost had a very different life. 9 years ago, he was working in corporate America.
向こうでサラリーマンで働いてみて、やっぱなんか違うかな。やっぱり戻ってくることにしました。
Tetsuhiro Kinjo hopes his son will one day take over the family farm.
後継者ができるということでね、本当に安心しています。
I'll take you there and show you.
But Ryutaro fears this idyllic lifestyle is under threat. To show me why, he takes me for a drive. Less than a kilometre away, sticking out from the surrounding hills, is a huge construction site. So, what are we looking at?
That would be a military base.
How did you first find out about this base?
When I see a newspaper.
So quite a surprise.
Yeah, much surprised.
When the base is finished, it'll be home to around 600 soldiers, stockpiles of ammunition and missiles. It's created a lot of tension and division in this community.
その住民同士の仲が悪くなったり関係が崩れたりっていうその状況を見るのが本当に一番辛いです。
Has this space divided the community?
I think.
To understand Ishigaki's strategic importance to Japan, you have to see how it fits into the bigger picture. It's part of a long chain of islands in the southwest where Japan's been building military bases in recent years. Yonaguni, Ishigaki, Miyako, Amami Oshima and Magashima.
These dotted islands are kind of like fences that hold in the Chinese, and that's exactly because of that they don't really like it, and they will definitely not like us moving our military assets down there. That's the whole point of it.
The Okinawan Islands have been wedged between major military powers before. This history has left an indelible mark.
On Okinawa, we trapped and destroyed over 100,000 of their best troops.
In the dying days of the war in the Pacific, the Japanese Imperial Army was putting up a final stand in the Okinawan Islands.
We're going to destroy Japan's armies, Japan's navy, Japan's whole power to wage war.
On Ishigaki, the Imperial Army thought a US invasion was imminent. Fearing the locals might give up information to the Americans, the Japanese army forced them to move into the jungle.
Some were carrying things on the shoulder, women mostly on their heads and on their back, carrying babies on back and so forth.
Setsuko Yamazato was only 7 when her family was brought here. How does it feel to be standing here?
I don't even want to come here and think back of those days. It brings all that memory back to me.
Setsuko is too frail to go any further, but her friend, historian Norikazu Ishido, takes me deeper into the jungle.
軍の命令で強制的にやむを得ずマラリア有病地と分かっていながらここに避難させられたんですね。でそこでここはもう食料はない。でこれはかまど跡ですけどもかろうじてトカゲとかシマノクハコガメ爬虫類とかねそういうものを食べてどうにか生活していたんですがもう栄養失調になって体はどんどん衰えてマラリア病になってそして寒さでガタガタ震えて高熱にうなされて本当に無念の死を遂げていった多くの人々が亡くなっていきました。
My mother, she and I caught malaria on the same night. We were just hugging each other, lying down, trembling, shaking like something. We couldn't stop the fever and so forth. It continued. Then it went on like this, like that until the May 17th, till when she died.
Malaria killed around 2,500 Ishigaki locals.
I feel those who died of malaria and things that they were all sacrificed by Japanese military.
Setsuko's baby sister also died of starvation.
I think I didn't know what death meant. It took me a while before I really got lonely, losing my sister, mother, and so forth. So at that time I didn't feel anything. I want this not to happen again. Never, never, never again.
It's a mission statement Setsuko has lived by.
いやいや、これはもういらない。これはいらない。ウクライナなんだ。ノーミサイルベース。これは。
The veteran activist runs the so-called Society of Grannies to protect life and livelihood.
If you have a missile base, that would be the first object that enemies would aim for.
Every Sunday, Setsuko and her friends rally against the new military base. They chant in the Okinawan dialect.
Very good job. Very good job. Yo, yo, yo. Yo, yo, yo.
私たち小さな力なんだけれども頑張ってるんです。ゲット白い花のかんざしやで最近の新聞なんかだとまるで石垣島が戦場になるのがもうなんかこう日の見るより当たり前ますます腹が立つますよね。
You've been fighting for many years. Are you getting tired from fighting?
Tired? Never. Looks to me it's become one of my hobbies. Favorite hobbies. I never get tired from fighting.
But the grannies are up against powerful forces. Ah, Nakayama-san. James Oten. Ishigaki's mayor, Yoshitaka Nakayama, is officially an independent, but was endorsed by the country's ruling party, the LDP. He's an ardent supporter of the base. In last year's elections, the mayor campaigned on a pro-base platform and had a convincing win against his anti-base rival. This is your fourth term as mayor?
Yes. 私は今市長になって13年目ですけども選挙4回やっています。で4回やってる選挙の時毎回自衛隊の配備については選挙の争点になってました。石垣にもし駐屯地自衛隊がなかった場合は空白地域ですから中国からだと一番攻めやすい場所になると思いますのでそういう意味を考えてもやはり石垣には自衛隊の駐屯は必要だというふうに思っています。
Some feel Japan needs to do even more to keep China at bay. Local councillor Hitoshi Nakama is part fisherman, part activist. For decades, he's been visiting a set of disputed islands known as the Senkaku in Japan and the Diaoyu in China.
向こうに行くまではもう海中としてしか行けませんから向こうで行って議員だと言ったらこれも行く前に議員だと言ったら行かれませんから職業は何ですか漁民です。
Why do you do this?
頭が狂ってるからだよ。
He's been documenting how an increasingly powerful China is asserting itself. Armed with a camera, Hitoshi films scenes like these for audiences in Japan.
やっぱり日本の国民に映像を撮ったり写真を撮ったりしてその現状を知らしめることも私の義務だと思っています。私がやらなければ誰もやる人がおりませんから。この船のすぐ近くまで30メーターまで中国公船寄ってくる。日本の領海です。中国公船尖閣諸島周辺海域に2隻がいます。なかなか出ていこうとしません。こう平然と平気で躊躇なく領海に入ってきている。もう僕自身が期間を通り過ぎてそれで本当にどうなるのかなっていつ攻撃されるよう知らないような状況に 今現在来ていると言ってもおかしくない、過言ではない。はい、乗っていいよ。OK、乗っていいよ。
To avoid escalating conflict with China, Japan has banned people from landing on the islands. Before every trip to the Senkaku, Coast Guard officials search Hitoshi's boat from top to bottom.
上陸できるものがあったらもう止められます。ボートだとかね。だからそういう類のものが入ってないのか積まれていないのか、ドローンが積まれているか積まれていないか。日本の領土そして領海に行くのにどうしてそういう臨権が必要なのって、私はそういうことをやる必要がないんじゃないかと言ってるから。
As Hitoshi heads back to the disputed islands, he's tracked by the Coast Guard for the entire journey.
もともと沖縄っていうところはもともとシナトのその流れなんです。やっぱり中国というのは素晴らしい国だ、いい国だってずっと今まで言ってきたのが、いきなりもう大国になった途端に弱い国をいじめてるというのがね、私は私のなりに自国の領土領海は日本国民がしっかりと守るべきだと思っています。
Further north on the island of Amami, I've been invited to see Japan's amphibious assault team in action. The national media is along for the ride. So too are military observers from friendly nations, including Australia.
The US and Japan are obviously one of our strongest allies, so the opportunity to be here and see how they operate really benefits us.
Today, these soldiers are preparing to launch a beach assault.
These amphibious activities are inherently getting more complex and more sophisticated.
These drills are part of massive 10-day exercises between Japanese and US forces. 36,000 troops are taking part in Exercise King's Sword, some of the biggest ever held on Japanese soil. As the amphibious assault vehicles power towards the beach, plumes of smoke are deployed as cover. Within moments, the vehicles are on the sand and the soldiers storm out. Hundreds of locals have gathered to watch the spectacle.
こういう演習してくれるとすごく安全に感じます。少し戦争が身近に感じてしまう部分もありますけど、防衛しないことには自分たちの命も守れないので。
ありすぎてもダメだし、ないものとしてもダメなものなんじゃないかなと思いますね。その辺のバランスは多分難しいところだと思いますけど。はい、
武器では平和は作れない。ミサイルがあるからといって安心安全じゃない。逆にミサイルがあるとやられる。
Japan is now betting that more weapons will make it safer. It's vowed to increase defence spending by almost 60% over the next 5 years. High on the shopping list are hundreds of new missiles that can strike further than ever before, including as far as the Chinese mainland.
If there's certain military moves that really affects our national interest, then we do have the capability to try to stop that operation by hitting whatever assets that's necessary to be hit, like the port, like the airfield. We're not actually thinking about fighting such a war. We're thinking about deterrence, meaning that telling the Chinese that we do have these capabilities. If you do things that we do not want you to do, this is the cost you might have to pay.
Polls show the majority of people support expanding the military, but there's strong opposition to raising taxes to pay for it.
Japan's public finance is in a horrible situation. Once you start to talk about money, it gets more real. Then people start to think, well, do we really need that much, or is that really going to help?
Are these bases that Japan has built in the far southwest justified?
No. Well, they're so close to China. And if Japan can hit China, China can hit Japan. And they can hit Japan so many more times. They have thousands of missiles. Japan is not going to have thousands of missiles without going bankrupt. So I think it's just for show.
You think it'll antagonize China?
I think it will.
On Ishigaki, I'm joining Ryutaro and his family for their weekly lunch. Is this soba?
Soba, Okinawa soba.
Okinawa soba. As the base nears completion, their anxiety is growing.
でも子供とか孫の代で考えるとちょっと心配ですね。
龍太郎の年代がこれから石焼きをしよう中で本当にこの石焼きを守るためにねやはり頑張ってほしいなと思っています。
Ryutaro has accepted the challenge. He's taken the council to court to pressure it to hold a referendum, giving locals a say on whether or not they want a base. But the council and the mayor are opposed.
私自身は国全体の安全保障の防衛の問題を一つの地域石垣だけの住民投票でここに自衛隊を置かないとか置くとか判断するのは非常に危険だというふうに思ってますので。
But Ryutaro feels the community should be heard.
それぞれの意思表示をすることで相手の意見も認め合えるようなそういったきっかけ作りが住民投票だと思うので島の人同士のこの分断を和らげたいっていうのが目標で元のようには戻れないかもしれないけどなるべく助け合って
On a local farm, Ryutaro joined some old high school friends to play music. This Okinawan folk song is called Ghetto. It's about remembering the horror Okinawans endured in the Second World War and praying it never happens again.
太平洋戦争終わったはずなのに私たちはその終戦っていうのを感じることができない実感することができない。
やはり15歳からこの自衛隊という世界に来ているので、未だに心配はしていますね。厳しい訓練をしっかりとして、任務を完遂するのと、あとは生きて帰ってくるよっていうのをしっかりと、母親には伝えています。
This next war, if it happens, everyone will be the losers, I think.